Oh, okay. I am live again. So this is video number 3. Dr. Katz coming at you. You know, these videos will get cooler as I guess. It's my dad, my friend Saul. He's. It's not that he's camera shy. He's just kind of wary and paranoid about this. Anyway, so today we took my dad to the hospital. Routine procedure, not an emergency, but they had to drain pleural effusion fluid out of his left side of his chest cavity. So it brought back a med school memory. That's when we had this guy, Graham Jeffries, some name like that. He was British, perfect butler name. Like, I'm Graham Jeffries, like they have names like Nigel and Kent and anyway. But the only useful thing anyway, I remember him teaching us was like the difference between exudates and transudates. Okay, so for aspiring med students and like actual med students who need to review this, so an exudate, just think of like thick pus and snot, mucus, and it usually means pneumonia. It can mean cancer though. So something to do with the specific gravity, the protein content, LDH content, all that. But if it's thick and pussy and gross, it's an exudate. A transudate, you got to think of conditions, like 2 main conditions. Heart failure, like CHF, where cardiac output is not preserved. You also think of tuberculosis, so TB. And, if you ever want to clear out a computer room, just start go like, you do that, and then they'll look at you like, oh my God, are you okay? And you say, I'm fine, just the TB acting up. And I did that once. This was years later in grad school, and the guy was like that. I was like, dude, I was like, if I had TB, you think they'd let me in the grad school program? No. They'd at least make sure I was on, isoniazid and rifampin and so on. Well, anyway, so you think of CHF and TB for transudate fluid, and you think of pneumonia, cancer, and things like that for exudates. Well, while he was explaining that, there's exudates and transudates, and never the twain shall meet. You know how they could turn anything into like, and then all the prisoners were chopped to little pieces, and then they all had tea and went home. It's only British people can sound that way. It's kind of funny. Well, while he was explaining that, I did have a pretty bad cold at the time of bronchitis, and I sneezed really hard, and like all this, I don't know, exudate stuff, mucus, shot out of my nose, and almost hit this one girl in the back of the head, and I was like, thank God, it like narrowly missed. I don't know where it went, but I was it was funny. It was funny. Almost as much as another med school memory, which, what the hell? I'll just tell it now. It happened like a year or so later, 2 years later, whatever. There was this little guy. I guess he was found like confused. It turned out he was becoming septic. We're not sure why, really. Not that it matters. Well, they hadn't done a rectal exam on him during the admission in the ER. And I was a third-year med student, and like, Brian, go in, get a stool guaiac card. It's like, all right. Well, I gloved up. I explained to him, we have to do a rectal exam and just check, is there bleeding, signs of colon cancer, all that. So he's like, okay. And then I gloved up. They turn around and he starts gurgling like, ugh. I was like, nothing good comes of this. Like, so, that feeling something bad is about to happen feeling. And I was like, oh my God, could be like undiagnosed seizures, who knows, a brain tumor, like, so it's normal people don't just suddenly start going, you know. And he grabs the side rails of his bed, and all of a sudden, like a mountain of shit. Just right in the bed. Oh God, that was so repulsive. Anyway, well, and that's so awkward because I was thinking like, hell, if I don't want to touch this, like, so the nurses, even they didn't want to, they basically got to get him out of bed, roll the bedclothes in a ball, throw it in the biohazard red bag, and the guy's friends were. I was like, the patient. The nurses are cleaning him up. He's had an accident. And I took off, man. I would have been like the world's fastest runner for about, 5 seconds there. So, naturally, being a guy, and I had to call up my two best friends at the time, from high school, and give them the rundown. And I was still like, I could not even go on that wing, without like starting to laugh till the next day. I mean, come on, they without humor, what do we have? But that was probably the grossest moment in all of medical school, even worse than, sneezing out the snot during the lecture about exudates and transudates. Oh, well, back to my dad. Yeah, this is from the lymphoma. So they're going to restart rituximab. And, for you med students, it's a monoclonal antibody directed against CD20 surface protein found mainly on B cells. And as we all know, non-Hodgkin's lymphomas arise 80% of the time from B cells. Okay, B cells. There are T cell lymphomas, not that many. And Hodgkin's possibly comes from a monocyte that gets weird and turns to the dark side of the force, gets the allied nucleoli. But they've never confirmed where the Reed-Sternberg cell, as it's called, where it arises from. But Hodgkin's spreads predictably to groups of lymph nodes. Non-Hodgkin's, it's unpredictable. Could show up in the abdomen, then the chest, the shoulders, go to the spleen. There's no way to know. All right, well, all's well that ends well. So they sucked out 1.5 liters of crap out of my dad's chest there, and because more than that they won't do, because it could lead to pneumothorax or lung collapse. So. All right, well, 8 minutes. Ooh, that is longer than I anticipated. Okay, well, more random thoughts in video number 4. Maybe I'll wait till like the next NBA game. Now the finals are tied up. And I hope Milwaukee can pull off a miracle, but, I don't know. I think Arizona wants it more, but we'll see. We shall see. Okay. Have a good afternoon.